The Labor government has pledged to streamline the infrastructure investment program ahead of the budget. Joining me live is the Assistant Trade Minister Tim Ayres, who joins me here at the desk. Good to see you.
G'day, Laura.
There's a review underway for this $120 billion pipeline, but it's not going to happen until after the budget. What's the point?
Well, I think people would expect us to run the ruler over these programs. We started a decade ago.
Earlier, before the second budget, right?
Well, these are all long-term procurements of infrastructure. You know, they stretch out for years and years and years beyond the forwards. So this kind of review can be done at any time, and it should be done. We've gone from a position where we've had around about 150 projects being funded by the Commonwealth to now around 800. Some of these projects, I chaired the Senate inquiry into the commuter car parks last term. You know, how is it that the Commonwealth got engaged in these projects that were really very small, many of them really in marginal seats, really being funded because Scott Morrison and the Liberals were using public money as a sort of election strategy? Well, it didn't work very well in the end because it was exposed. And, you know, we've got to make sure that every dollar that the Commonwealth spends is of value.
If it's not this fund, who pays for it then?
Well, some of these projects that were funded by the last government, you have to scratch your head and wonder how on earth did that happen. But there are many projects in that.
Other than commuter car parks, does anything else come
let me
to
give you
mind?
one example. I'm sorry, it is back to commuter car parks, but commuter car parks been funded in railway stations that were about to close. That's what these jokers did, right? It was press release projects, you know, sort of out there, cut the ribbon, and then nothing happened.
Yeah.
Now, we need to make sure that every dollar counts. Many of these projects that are in this pipeline are high-value projects that are critical for our national productivity and national development, and we've got to make sure two things happen. One is the expenditure's been done properly, but also are the projects being done on time? Are the states making the right contribution? We're going to open that up. It's a short review.
Okay.
It's a good thing that's happening.
All right, every election we see these small announcements, though, whether it's for sporting fields or local traffic lights or whatever it is. My argument is that shouldn't really be in the remit of the federal government in this type of project anyway. Shouldn't that be done more locally?
Well, some of these small projects are really local projects. That's true.
Yeah. So why are you funding them? Why isn't the local council funding them?
The most important thing here is that it's transparent and open and that every dollar counts.
Yep.
I think it is open.
But are any of the promises made at the election by Labor, those promised projects, part of this review?
Well, I'm not sure whether all of those projects...
They're not.
There may be some are, and maybe that some aren't. I'm not sure what the scope is.
If you're going to have a proper review
in terms of those smaller items,
even election promises made just before the last election should be involved, shouldn't they?
Well, there is, you know, election promises, commitments that we made during the election, we will honour. Every single one of them, we will follow through.
Yeah, sure. But
that is,
if you're going to have a review, shouldn't everything be reviewed? But you're saying, oh, we promised them, so they're good projects.
Remember what the last government did? Well, it wasn't about election commitments.
You don't always get it right either.
Was they perverted the processes of government to create decisions of government, not decisions of a political party going into an election, but perverted the processes of government for partisan political advantage. That's the difference here. Now, the Auditor-General understands the distinction.
But this happens all the time.
The public sector principals understand that.
Labor got around making announcements, small announcements, on Facebook during the last election, and it's the same principle.
Well, when you make a commitment as a political party going into an election, that is a decision of the political party, and you have the endorsement of the people at the election to go and set about doing that.
Yep.
What happened
Didn't the government do that? You seek that at every election.
No, what the last government did was pervert the public processes of government to secure political advantage. That's quite different to openly going and saying, you know,
it's pretty grey, I'd say.
It's not very grey. It's very clear. I mean, it was very clear. I don't want to bore you with the arcane...
But you're seeking a political advantage as well.
No, what we did in the lead up to the election was tell people what we would do if we were elected, and now we are going to go and do it.
And wasn't the government telling people what they would do if they were re-elected? It's the same thing.
But the last government perverted the processes of government in order to secure... Well, by having colour-coded spreadsheets that were reviewed inside the Prime Minister's office
You're saying pork barrelling doesn't happen under Labor?
Well, what we did in the lead up to the last election was tell people what we were going to do. And that is an important distinction. Like political parties going into an election can make these kinds of commitments.
Yep.
But what you can't have is government cooking the books in order to secure political advantage.
Well, we'll hold you to that. We've got to quickly go to Anthony Albanese. I just want to bring up something that...
he's the boss. We'll go to him.
OK, we'll go to the boss. Hold tight.
An objective of the Fair Work Act, making those changes for fairness that were passed with our industrial relations legislation last year. We said we'd address better skills and training for working people, and we did that with our 180,000 fee-free take places. I'm proud to lead a government that is delivering for working people. Today is a celebration of that, and I'm proud to be marching with my union today, the AMWU, and the union movement of Queensland. I'm very proud of the friendship and relationship that I have as well with the Queensland Labor government that's continuing to deliver. Last week we delivered through the National Cabinet a way forward on strengthening Medicare, on improving housing and on so much more as well. Thanks.
Thanks, PM. It's great to have the Prime Minister.
That's Anastasia Palaszczuk there. Just while she's speaking, hopefully we get some questions to the Prime Minister as well. I just want to bring up with you, Tim Ayres, a couple of things. David Littleproud. Look, I asked David Littleproud about AEMO last week, essentially saying that we need to get a wriggle on with the transmission lines. He's saying, well, the existing transmission lines would work with small-scale nuclear. Does he have a point?
I don't know whether David Littleproud has a point here. You know, if I get a choice of listening to the experts in AEMO or listening to David Littleproud on the other side, I think I'll be paying attention to what AEMO's got to say about the future of the energy market and transmission. The truth is there is a big requirement for investment. Labor's Rewiring the Nation program, $20 billion of investment in transmission, is designed to make sure we can get more low-cost renewable and storage into the system and drive down the costs. That's got to be the focus.
It's expensive.
It is expensive.
Yep.
It is nation building. It is absolutely necessary for our future to make sure that our businesses are competitive with low-cost energy and that we drive down the price of energy for households. It really matters.
We're going to go back to the boss, as you put it, in just a moment. He's had the longest honeymoon in recent political history. I feel like that may have ended at the weekend. Do you think?
Well, I don't know. I don't know that we think about it that way in the Labor Party. We are just trying to do a good job. You know, we got elected on the basis of trying to bring back adult government to Australia, on the basis of focusing on the issues that matter, bringing Australians together and delivering in the national interest, not the partisan interest. We are going to keep doing that week after week. I expect to be asked about our popularity, up or down week after week, but we are really focused on doing the job that we're elected to do.
Okay. Great to talk to you.
Good to see you, Laura.